Alrighty, welcome back, everyone. To those of you viewing on YouTube, welcome to our YouTube channel here for Golf Unfiltered. And joining me today on today's episode of the Golf Unfiltered podcast is Dr. Stephen Liu. Dr. Stephen, you are an orthopedic surgeon by trade, and you are also the founder of Forme, which is going to be the basis of today's conversation. How are you today, sir?
Doing great. Thank you for inviting me to your podcast.
Well, thanks so much for agreeing to come on. And before we get into all the benefits of Forme and what got you into creating this wearable technology, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about your background as an orthopedic surgeon?
Well, I was trained as an orthopedic surgeon, sports medicine specialist, and I was a team physician for UCLA for many, many years. And that was my passion, and the ability to treat the players without necessarily doing surgery to get them back because their body is the only thing they got for performance. And one of the most important things for these athletes is how do you recover them quickly from day to day, event to event. Some of them have to do multiple events a day. So recovery becomes a most important aspect of their athletic performance.
Yeah, that's very true. And I know a lot of people listening to this could probably relate to all the comments you just mentioned, specifically about, coming back from injury, coming back from, even just growing older, honestly, rehabilitating those old aches and pains. I'm sure that's something that you've seen a lot in your experience.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, growing up, I have followed a lot of professional athletes. I've treated a lot of professional athletes, and ranges from NBA players, baseball players, volleyball players. All these players, and the only thing they always tell me, my body is my money. Without my body, I don't make money. So, so
Yeah,
I
that's
always
true.
remember that 20 some years ago. And this is the basis how we develop Forme. And I can get into that much later.
Sure. And it's interesting too, because, a lot of people, when they think about golf, they think about a sport that they can play for a very long time. And you had mentioned, just a few other sports that you've worked with, the athletes that have played them. But golf is a pretty complex movement, and there's a lot of injuries that can occur. And I'm sure many people listening to this are probably laughing because they've experienced some. I know I've experienced my fair share as well. But let's talk a little bit about what led you to the idea of Forme.
Well, it started out with cancer patients. My mom was a cancer patient, and most people don't understand the agony of a cancer patient sitting at a clinic getting their chemotherapy, 6-7 hours a day, a couple times a week, or it could be months. And chemotherapy has a significant side effect of causing muscle atrophy, which, you will lose your energy and breathing muscles. So most of these patients are very slouch with low energy state. And while my mother was going through this, I had to pull her shoulder back, manually, almost a couple hundred times a day just to get her to set up, to breathe better, and to feel better. And after she passed away, I decided to do something to help these patients, to make them look better and breathe better, and to develop a technology where you can actually embed it into a normal clothing, so they don't look like they're wearing something, a gadget or brace that fixate their body, but they want to look normal just like everyone else. It took a couple years to do. I'm a specialized in biomechanics, and I'm a shoulder surgeon, so I understand the scapula, which is the shoulder blades, very well. And finally, we're able to launch this product, having done so many clinical studies and tested on over 500 subjects. And it really works because it's a device. It's not really a fitness brand. And so for an orthopedic surgeon, what we do is we like to fix things, and it has to be successful. And this is what I've done. I create a product that works, and it's built inside an activewear that upon wear, it has an immediate transformation effect on your body. It will take the pressure off your neck. At the same time, it actually activates your spine muscle. So it actively engages muscle to transform your body and to change your posture and to increase your mobility, and then you can have better recovery. So you got to understand that if we can change the posture using your own muscles, and then your body can actually take over, and then you're in a relaxed state. Especially when the neck muscles are relaxed, you can sleep better. A lot of the professional team players wear this when they travel after the game, when they have to go on the airplane, go to the next game, or they're on the bus, they got to travel somewhere. And a lot of golfers too. A lot of the young golfers don't have the leisure of flying private jet, so they have to drive from place to place to place. And they wear this to drive, and they wear this to recover. This is the tremendous amount of feedback I've gotten from the players that have used our product over the last few years. And I hope this gives you a
That's
little
incredible.
inside background of what the product does.
Yeah, and so just so I understand and the listeners understand too, so it is as you put it, a device to help with posture and appropriate alignment of the spine, but it's built in, as I understand it, to a t-shirt model or even a sports bra model for females, where it really blends nicely with your regular clothing. You wouldn't know that you're wearing a postural device, if I understand correctly.
Absolutely. You said it on the spot. And that's the purpose of doing this for, we started with people. We don't want people to look abnormal. We want people to look normal. But in the fact that no one has ever done this, to put a technology inside a normal t-shirt or polo shirt or a bra that makes you look taller and sit better and correct your posture while you're wearing it, and without any efforts. And that's the beauty of this, because it's a natural, a sustainable solution for many people, and that's what we're looking for. We want to change the world. We want to change the apparel. We want to do something. It's like driving a Tesla. It took a long time for people to believe that you could actually drive a car that you don't have to push gas. And then it does everything for you because it's a software. So I would always like to compare my thinking about an apparel. How do we make this apparel that transform your body? It's like Superman. You put on, or Batman. You put on a gear, and you become a supercharged human being. So I always put that analogy to people, then they get it. They get that. Oh, how do I get that Bat gear, or how do I get the Superman transformation?
Well, you're speaking my language there, definitely. And as I'm listening to you talk, I'm even like adjusting my posture as I'm sitting down, because I know I have awful posture. I know I have. I always have. For those who believe that this would be something that they could benefit from, what are some of the other physical benefits that someone might feel by just improved posture alone?
Well, there are many. If you improve your posture, you're going to improve breathing, because your chest cavity, it's going to stick out, because you actually are moving backwards, your shoulder back, chest forward, and then the spine muscle has to strengthen. And at the same time, your hip mobility will improve, and then a lot of pressure of your spinal disc are improving. And think about this. If you're using your muscle to train your posture, to align your spine, while at the same time, your neck muscles are relaxed, you're actually generating a lot of great, comfortable effect that we're looking for. You want to have relaxed neck muscles. You want to have more circulation, because all those things are recovery. They're very based on recovery principle, or no tension in your neck, great circulation because your muscles are engaged and without a lot of efforts. And so those are just some of the few benefits. But for golfers, especially just beyond recovery, that we know that if you bring your scapula down, shoulder blade down, and back, you will improve thoracic rotation very quickly. And that is a known fact. And so we've done that in the lab. We've done that in a lot of top fitness instructors. I was at the Sawgrass Performance Center just last weekend, and top fitness instructor there were just amazed how they can instantly improve their rotation. I was down at Rick Smith Performance Center, and literally I saw this one guy who was trying to improve his thoracic rotation. I was sitting there just waiting for Rick Smith. And I watched this guy swing like a couple of 15 times, and he was still stuck at the same level of rotation. So I just went up there and say, I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I think I can improve this rotation without you spending a couple more $1,000 here. And he goes, what do I have to do? I say, well, just put on the shirt. He goes, really? I say, okay, just put it on. And then I'm sitting there, and the golf instructor just went, holy whatever. And and the guy goes, then the guy goes, I basically feel like you cracked my spine, but literally he improved 30 degrees of thoracic rotation just by putting the shirt on. And I say it's very simple. If today you can pull your shoulder blade back and down, you're going to rotate because they're not blocking the thorax. And same thing with our shorts. Our short does the same thing to improve your hip mobility. So those are the functional benefits that we build into our product to improve the sporting and the technology and the functional mobility of all these athletes.
30 degrees of rotation is a lot. And that's a drastic improvement. And listeners, I just want you to understand that is a lot of rotational improvement there. I have that right?
Yeah, 30 degrees. Well, it's some people can improve 50 degrees, but I think the average we have, if you read the My Golf Spy article that came out, actually the average is about 25 to 35 degrees.
Wow. Yeah, that's significant, folks. And so, Doctor, now over the last year, I should say, most of us have been working from home, sitting in front of a computer, much like we are now. And even before that, when we were in our offices, a lot of us were just chained to our desks, sitting all hunched over. For those who might not think they need this, they need to think of just their everyday behaviors as well.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, our sales have basically quadrupled during this pandemic. And just because people are sitting home, they're looking for a self-care. They're looking for a better product. And it's always through this COVID when people realize that they have to do something to get a better health, to have better wellness. And our product does that. We have significant amount of referral. We do women product very, very well, men's product very, very well. A lot of people, they do like yoga, they do Peloton, they do these exercises at home that requires a lot of posture change. And if you go to Peloton, all these instructors, what do they always talk about? Posture, posture, posture. Because for me, with good posture, you will improve your mobility, you'll improve your recovery, you'll improve everything in your life. It's a lifestyle change that we don't do. We don't really train our posterior muscle. What I mean by posterior is the spinal muscle from shoulder all the way down to your buttocks. Everybody know what glutes are. Mm-hmm. We don't spend a lot of time training those unless you're elite athletes. And that's the reason we're always hunching, because we have weak posterior stabilizer. And we always build our front, but we don't build our back muscles. And so for that reason, we are slouching. We're a sloucher society. And you can see that very quickly, unless you just keep doing what you're doing, pinching your shoulder blades back, but you can't do that 24/7. It's just not possible, right? I mean, so that is how one of the ways that Forme was developed is to actually train and actually engage the posterior muscle. So let it train your spine muscle without any effort. While you're working, you're doing your, podcast, and it goes beyond athletes. Seriously, it just affects everyone.
Yeah. Well, and as you were talking, I was thinking about just my day to day, and I work from home now for most of the time. I do the podcast during the evening, and just the benefits that I'm thinking about of just like you mentioned it, just sitting here talking to you and probably feeling that and having that translate over into my golf game that I do for enjoyment. And nobody likes to go play golf and to come back and have a bad back.
Absolutely. I mean, golf is all about posture. And, I always keep telling the player, hey, you look really good on the driving range, but the golf course is not the driving range. And when you get to 15 to the 18th hole, you're going to be tired and you don't have the energy and your posture will change. And that's when you're going to hit over the top and all your swing is going to be going left and right and your putting is not going to go where you want. And then you're going to lose your $2 bet to your friend.
I wish my friends only played for $2. Let me tell you that. So, and just to be perfectly clear with for the listeners, when we say device, it's not something that needs to be charged. It's not something that needs to be plugged in. Do I have that right?
Correct. It's a fabric. It's all fabric, and that's why, we don't need to go through any sort of approval process because it's a fabric that we have developed that are embedded into a normal T-shirt or a normal bra.
That's excellent. That's excellent. And you had mentioned that, of course, you've got the presence on the professional tours as well. Before we started recording here, you were telling me a story, and you just mentioned another story about going up and down the driving range and talking to some pros and seeing how they can benefit from Forme. I imagine that, as you've mentioned, a lot of the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, it's a wow feel. It just people don't get that to feel by putting on an apparel, and it's something that we want to because it immediately takes the tension away from your neck and actually draws your shoulder back without you doing it, and it kind of keeps you in that position, and then the muscle all act up, engaged to be trained. So if you wear this product every day, 4 to 6 hours a day, in 4 to 6 weeks, you actually will have a really nice posture, and then your muscle memory takes over. It's all about muscle memory training, which we haven't done for 20, 30 years. And imagine all the tech-neck society we have today, kids, all these college gamers, all these people that are doing things on their computer, laptop, video games, they all have this terrible posture. And then they're going to get tired and, can't breathe because as we slouch, we have trouble breathing because we compress the lungs. And so having a good posture really has great health benefits. And no matter what you do, you don't have to wear our product. But, again, you should really look at your posture, your alignment, just for your own health and for your great game. The golf game is all about posture. You got great posture, like Adam Scott, some of these guys. I mean, they will just consistently drive the ball on the fairway because they have a great posture.
Yeah. Posture is definitely important, not only in golf, as you mentioned, but in so many aspects of life. And listeners, you can go out and learn more at their website at Forme. It's FORME.science. It's a little bit of a unique URL there that you want to put into your web browser and learn all about the wearable therapeutic of Forme Science that Dr. Stephen Liu here is talking about. So, Doctor, before we let you go, what are you most excited about as golfers, as people continue to learn more about Forme?
Our company is about taking care of people. And it doesn't matter whether you're an athlete or you're sitting on a wheelchair, Paralympians, or you're a cancer patient. We're here to transform your body and to have a better living, to have better mobility. And that's our greatest mission. And it happens that we're golfers have significant amount of neck and back problems that we can help. And but there's a lot of people with similar occupational hazard: truck drivers, surgeon, dentists. Anyone that has that kind of occupation, hazard, Form is here to help you. And we can change your lifestyle and by correcting your posture.
Folks, I'm sold on it. I'm gonna go get some shirts. I might get some of the shorts that you mentioned too, Doctor. I mean, come on. I mean, this is something I've struggled with my entire life, and this is something that, according to Dr. Stephen Liu here, I can fix forever, and it can also impact my game in a positive way. So, Doctor, thanks so much for coming on to tell us a little bit about your story.
Thank you, Adam.